Hello, my name is Lana Green. This channel is for stay-at-home moms looking for flexible ways to earn and save money while still being present for your kids. One of my favorite things that I've been doing the last few months is my Roadside bakery cart. It's self-serve, so that's really nice not to have to be out there with it all day. I just set it out at the end of my driveway at the beginning of the day, and then it just kind of runs itself. I really like to bake. And so I'll bake cookies or some kind of quick bread. Cinnamon rolls have done well. And I'll stick them in my little standing cooler and I'll roll it out to the end of my driveway. And I have my Venmo code up on a sign. Actually, it's a magnetic sign that sticks onto the cooler, but people can just scan that and then grab what they want and go. And it's been really cool to connect with some of my neighbors that way as well. But I love this because even though I'm not making a ton of money with it right now, it is a little bit most times that I put it out. Of course, there are days when nothing sells and it's fine. We stick it in the freezer and we eat it ourselves. So it's not a huge loss. But I really like this because I can get up early and I can bake stuff. I often make cookie dough ahead of time, form the cookie dough balls and freeze them that way so that I can just pull them out of the freezer in the morning and I can stick them in the oven, bake them, and have them out by the road in like 30 minutes altogether. And that way I'm not sacrificing time with my family during the day. Everything just runs itself. You might be wondering, well, what about like theft? Aren't people going to just walk by and steal stuff? That has not been my experience. And the people that I've listened to, that has not been their experience either. The other people that do this on YouTube or whatever. And oftentimes people even pay me extra, which has been really sweet. The only 2 times this did happen was I have this stand cooler that I got off Amazon and it has 2 compartments. So the lid lifts up on the right and the left. So on the right, I was putting the baked goods, and then on the left, I was putting water bottles. And I did have a sign on there that said, like, water bottles, $1. And there were 2 different times where a water bottle got swiped. But it's not really a big deal. But with the food, there hasn't been any theft so far. Some of the neighborhood kids like to come, and they just like to look inside, and that's fun for them for some reason, but it's totally fine. But if you wanted to try something like this, you could just start by setting out a table at the end of your driveway, which is what I have done in the past. I actually started out doing it on my front porch, which people did come by the very first time because I had been promoting it on like our neighborhood Facebook page and stuff. But after that, it really dropped off. And I noticed that it seemed like people were really hesitant to come up on somebody else's front porch, which I totally understand. And so that's why I ended up moving it to the end of my driveway. And that has worked a lot better. But when I started out moving it to the end of my driveway, I did just start with a little like TV dinner tray table that I would set out there, and I would set the stuff on it and set up my Venmo sign. And that was it. It was very, very simple. I also did have a chalkboard sign that I got from Hobby Lobby that I had used for farmers markets before. So I already had that. So I did set that up next to it. And on that, I would write out what was available and what the prices were. So obviously, you do need to have a way to display the price, even if it's just a card or something, an index card with the price written on it taped to the table, which I have also done that as well. So then past that, you'll just need some kind of way to package everything. The more professional, the better. And packaging is so inexpensive that there's really no reason not to make it professional. And what I mean by like unprofessional would just be like putting stuff in a Ziploc bag or something. So you can get just a little bit fancier than that very easily. Even if you just go get they make cookie bags at Dollar General and there's 25 in a pack for $1. And it even comes with the little twist ties. So that's pretty easily doable. And it just really elevates your products and makes them look more valuable. So you can't just start doing this without looking into what your state's cottage food laws are. And those are just laws that govern people that want to cook and sell things that they've made in their home or just not in a commercial kitchen. So some states, you have to have a special kind of license for this. Other states, you don't. The state I live in, we did have to when I got mine last December, but then in the summer, that changed. And so now we don't even have to have a license anymore, but there are still guidelines that you have to follow with your labeling and things like that, like not being able to use ingredients that are not shelf stable. So just take a look at your own state's cottage food laws before you jump into this. So as far as what you can put out there, I mean, so many possibilities and so many ways to make money from this. I've done bread before, like focaccia bread, and that has done pretty well. What I like to do that saves me a lot of time, I use my KBS bread maker, and I put in the ingredients for the focaccia, put it on the leaven dough setting. So it's going to go ahead and mix everything for me and do that first rise. And then when I take it out, I just have to shape it and let it rise again, and then I bake it. And then I can package it up and put it out. So that's one of my favorite ones to do is the focaccia, because it's a little bit more like artisan, like you're not really going to find that at just any average bakery. So it does feel a little bit more special. And then by far, my best seller has surprisingly, but also not surprisingly, been chocolate chip cookies. These are just so familiar to everyone. They know exactly what they're supposed to taste like, what they're going to get, and they don't feel like they're really taking a risk buying chocolate chip cookies. But also everybody loves them and they're happy to pay for them. So chocolate chip cookies have slowly become kind of my anchor item. Like I'm going to have chocolate chip cookies every time, regardless of what else is out there next to it. I do charge a little bit less at my roadside stand than I would at like the farmer's market because it's so much less overhead. I don't have to pay for like a vendor spot or anything like that. It's just at the end of my driveway. I'm not having to use gas to go anywhere. So to me, other than like I bought the cooler, and of course there's ingredients and things like that, but there's really no cost associated with putting it out. I do think that people are a little bit more understanding of having to pay a little bit more from a home baker rather than, picking up a box of cookies at Walmart or something like that. So I do charge $3 for a pack of 2 chocolate chip cookies, and nobody's complained about it, bucked at it at all. People have been happy to pay that. So don't be afraid to charge what you need to cover all of your packaging and all of your ingredients and stuff like that, especially if you are using higher quality ingredients. Just take that into account. And this is so easy to do. Like, I'm not even advocating for you to use like cake cost calculator, all that stuff that's out there. Absolutely, you can do that, and you probably should. But as a stay-at-home mom who homeschools, I do not have time to do that for all of my recipes. What I usually do is I just go to ChatGPT and I say, hey, these are the ingredients that I'm using. Here's where I shop. And here's the recipe. So can you break down the cost for me per item, like per cookie? And then what would be a good amount to charge? And it's usually pretty spot on if I give it that much detail. So especially if you're using, like, I like to use organic flour, organic almond milk, stuff like that. So that does get a lot pricier than if I just said I'm using almond milk, I'm using flour, then that cost would probably not be the amount that I needed it to be to make up for my expenses. So hopefully that makes sense. But that's one shortcut that you can use to make sure that you are charging enough money for your items. So anyway, I am still learning a lot from mine. I'm trying to figure out how to promote it more and get it out there without giving my address to the world. So far, I'm just using it as like a neighborhood amenity, a way to connect with my neighbors. I would like for it to expand a little bit to be able to make a little bit more money. In the meantime, that's what I'm doing with mine, and it's been really fun, if nothing else. So maybe this is a way that you can make a little bit extra in your home too. And this is something fun that you can involve your kids with too. They can help you set stuff up, even if they're not helping bake. It could just be really fun for everybody. My daughter likes to help put up the signs and stuff like that. So I hope you have found this video helpful. If you have any questions that I didn't answer about how I'm running my roadside stand, please leave them in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.